Dogs are known to be incredibly loyal to their owners. If you've ever watched them interact with their humans, you could see their devotion immediately. However, very few people ever get to truly see their canine's loyalty put to the test in actual life or death situations. One evening, a fire erupted inside one woman's house during an electrical storm, and her baby daughter and dog were trapped inside. The woman feared of her little girl's life, but her loving dog proved his loyalty in the most selfless way possible. Many people who own pets know that their furry friends will act loyally in a time of need. Thankfully, they usually never find themselves in dangerous situations. One special pup, named Polo, was not so lucky, however, and he more than proved his loyalty to his family one frightening night. Polo lived with his owner, Erica Peremsky, and her beautiful 8-month-old daughter, Viviana, in Baltimore, Maryland. They made a comfortable and loving home for themselves, and Viviana was Erica's pride and joy. Viviana and Polo were the best of friends, and they'd spend their days following each other around the house. Sometimes, dogs and young children don't mix well, but Polo was all about his little bestie. Every night before Viviana went to sleep, Polo would snuggle up next to her until she started to doze off. It was almost as if Polo was looking after Viviana and making sure she was safe before bed. Erica was excited to watch her daughter form an even greater bond with Polo as the months went on. It seemed like Polo was willing to do anything for the baby, and he would soon prove it in the most heroic way possible. One evening, while the family was at home, a massive electrical storm struck the city. Both Viviana and Polo were frightened of the loud thunder and lightning, and Erica was doing her best to keep everyone calm. Suddenly, all of the houses on the street lost electricity. Polo began to bark frantically, and Viviana started crying. Erica held her daughter close while workers tried to fix the electrical boxes on the telephone poles. Eventually, Erica managed to put Viviana to sleep, and Polo, by that time, had adjusted to the dark and was also much calmer. Erica's phone was dead, and she didn't have any flashlights in her home. She decided to run outside and plug her phone into her car charger. Just before she left, she lit a candle and placed it in her bedroom. She only needed the light for when she returned, and then she was going to blow it out. Erica knew how dangerous unattended flames could be. Erica quickly ran to the street where her car was parked. She jumped inside, charged her phone, and ran back to her house before the rain drenched her clothing. When she opened up her door, however, she screamed. To Erica's horror, her house was on fire. The flames licked the ceiling, and billowing thick smoke filled the home. She rushed inside to try to rescue Viviana, but she couldn't get past the blaze. She frantically called 911. When the Baltimore City Fire Department arrived at the scene, the 2-story house was completely engulfed in flames. Erica was screaming for Viviana, and firefighters knew they needed to get inside fast. After the rescuers managed to get inside, they rushed upstairs to save Viviana. When they finally found her, they were in awe. Polo was on top of her, shielding her from the surrounding flames. The firefighters grabbed the child and the dog, and they escaped. Eventually, the blaze was extinguished, and both Erica and Viviana were rushed to the hospital. Polo was taken in the ambulance as well. Viviana suffered burns on 20% of her body, but she was spared more serious harm because of Polo's protection. Erica's hands and face were burned from trying to enter her home, but she was relatively unscathed. She stayed with her daughter throughout the entire recovery. Polo, however, was very badly injured. Unfortunately, he passed away soon after the fire department rescued him and Viviana. In an interview with the local news station, Erica was in tears while she talked about the incident and Polo's heroic actions. Viviana was in critical condition for quite some time, but at least she was alive. Eventually, she was discharged from the hospital and she required round-the-clock care from Erica. A GoFundMe page was set up to help Erica and Viviana with their devastating losses in the fire. Friends and families and Good Samaritans all contributed to help get the family on their feet again. It was an amazing outpouring of support. Polo died a hero, giving his life to save the most vulnerable member of the family. The fire left Viviana with some permanent injuries, but Erica knew that her daughter was the most special gift in the world, and she was blessed every day to have her in her life. The fact that Erica's pup was so loyal he was willing to give up his life in a time of desperate need only shows just how devoted and loving our pets can be. Polo is truly a hero for giving up his life to save baby Viviana. Visit Erica's GoFundMe page for updates on the little girl's condition or to help her and Erica begin to rebuild their lives.